Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's Chandru, and today we're doing our second quarterly recap of our Fantasy Football Challenge, where we open up a single 2025 Panini Score Hobby Blaster Box and use the polls to draft the fantasy football team. So we're at week 5. Unfortunately lost here, 106 to 93. I was projected to win by 21 points, but again, you can't really, assume anything in fantasy football. I put in Sam Darnold as my quarterback because Kellen Williams was on bye. Did really good, almost doubled as projected, 28 points, pretty good. But other than that, kind of had average or below average performances on the rest of my team. Unfortunately, the other on the other side, we had Bo Nix, Rashad White, and Ja'Cory Merritt. So yeah, just unfortunate that some of my guys underperformed. All I needed was an extra 7 and would have won. But as you can see here, I'm currently 5-6. I'm kind of recording this late, almost in time for the third quarterly recap. But had something come up in my personal life, so I unfortunately couldn't get this out earlier. But at the point of week 5, I was 2-2. I won weeks 1 and 3, lost weeks 2 and 4. I was hoping to continue the pattern and win week 5. Unfortunately, that's just not how it worked out. Again, my bench wasn't performing that much better either. Pittman was okay. Keenan Allen was a little bit better, but nothing much from there. So hoping to kind of brush it off and win week 6. Unfortunately, week 6 was the toughest matchup I think I've ever had. And again, kind of a little bit of a spoiler, but currently team 5007 is in first place, so it's going to be a hard uphill battle either way. This was the team that stole Josh Allen and Breece Hall from me in the draft, one spot ahead. Put Kellen Williams back in as a quarterback. Had a good performance from him and George Pickens with 27 points, and Trey McBride after an off week last week in week 5. But unfortunately, you can't really compete with 20-point Christian McCaffrey, 31 points Rico Dowdle. I can't really compete with that, and even Josh Allen. It was a tough loss, but I wasn't expecting to win this one as I was last week. 2-loss streak. Week 6. Let's hope we can stop the bleeding in week 7. Unfortunately, week 7 lost again. Again, it was a close one, probably 50-50 who wins what. But again, another tough matchup. Again, Jay Blitz is currently second place right now on week 7. Entering week 7, I'm 2-4. Just a bad week for me. I mean, I had no scoring. Caleb Williams with the worst performance I've seen this season, with not even 6 points, 172 passing yards, 1 interception, and minus rushing yards. Zach Charbonnet actually had a great week. Unfortunately, just not the week that I needed him to. Trey McBride, as usual, other than week 5, kind of always puts up numbers, but just no point production around the whole team except for these two here. And on the other side, he had 18 points from his defense, 11 points from his kicker, which is kind of crazy. Drake May with 23 points against the Titans, as well as almost 17 points from Cam Scatterbo. So it was a bit tough. Let's see if anyone on the bench. Unfortunately, my bench kind of popped off. I probably could have won if I maybe switched someone in, but that's kind of how it always goes. But it's not like his bench underperformed either. So tough matchup. So after week 7, I'm now 2-5. Not looking great. Let's see how we end the quarter. Week 8, spoiler alert, another loss. Again, I wasn't projected to win this one by a lot. 108 to 81. I believe this one I had a lot of people on buy. Unfortunately, again, just based on the cards that I pulled from the blaster box, all these guys were basically best pick available. If you haven't watched my draft video, check it out. Again, I was looking to draft Breece Hall, but kind of took him. Someone took him the pick before me, so I was kind of really stretched thin on my running backs. So the 2 best picks available for running backs for me were unfortunately Travis and Zach, who had the same bye week. Trey McBride again was literally, I think, one of the only starting tight ends that I pulled. So I had to pick him too. So a lot of people in bye week. Nico Collins, I believe, was injured this week. as well as Mike Evans and Jaden Reed. I did get Jackson Dart in a trade. I traded him for Michael Harrison Jr., who again was just kind of underperforming week to week. So I figured I dropped Darnold. I might as well see. I think at the time for week 8, um, Jackson Dart was looking pretty good, 19, 17, 23, and 29. So I figured that in case if Caleb Williams had another stinker week, that Jackson Dart would be a good replacement. So I did trade Marvin Harrison Jr., but I do have enough wide receivers that I felt comfortable. Michael Pittman, again, 19 points. Um, Entering week 8, he was doing really good, 19, 17, 3, but then 12, 12, 6. So he had a more consistent performance than Michael Harrison. I was kind of tired of getting burned by him. So I did trade him away for Jackson Dart, which is fine. Again, who I did draft, who I did pull in the Blaster Box opening. So he's allowed on my roster. Tyjae Spears came back from IR, put up a nice 16 points, helped out. RJ Harvey, who's been pretty quiet and on the bench, also popped off for 23. It's just that, again, couldn't really catch up when he had Jalen Hurts, 25 on the other team. Jonathan Taylor with a monster 36-point game. 20 points from his kicker. I didn't even realize that. 20 points from his kicker, 17 from his defense. That is insane. Like that's a crazy performance by his team. Yeah, there was no way I was catching up with that, especially with literally half my team, my starters on bye. Yeah, just a rough quarter. Went 0 for 4. Funny enough, my team is the Jets. I'm a Jets fan in real life, and even they got more wins than my fantasy team. They got 1 win. I got 0. So yeah, spoiler alert. Let's see if we can kind of turn it around in third quarter. But yeah, thanks for watching, and see you next time.